Itapiso Pakava, Arahang Samar, Samputhoa, Vitjojarana Sampano, Sukato, Lokavitu, Onutaro, Puris Sotam Masarathi, Sattar, Tavamanu Sarnang, Puto Pokavati. Buddhakuna, often translated as virtues or qualities of the Buddha, refers to the exemplary attributes and characteristics attributed to the Buddha in Buddhist teachings. These virtues serve as ideals for followers to cultivate on their spiritual path. The Buddhakunas are numerous and varied across different Buddhist traditions, but some of the most commonly cited ones include: 1. Arahant is a term used in Buddhism to refer to someone who has attained the highest level of spiritual realization and liberation from the cycle of birth and death samsara. The word arahant is often translated as worthy one, holy one, or accomplished one. An arahant is someone who has fully purified their mind of defilements, kilesas, such as greed, hatred, and delusion. They have eradicated the root causes of suffering and have attained complete liberation nibbana from the cycle of birth and death. Arahants have broken the cycle of samsara and are no longer subject to rebirth. They have transcended the cycle of birth, aging, sickness, and death, and have attained the ultimate goal of spiritual liberation. Arahants possess impeccable moral conduct sila. They adhere strictly to ethical precepts and live virtuous lives, characterized by compassion, kindness, and harmlessness towards all beings. Arahants have profound wisdom and insight panya into the true nature of reality. They have directly penetrated the Four Noble Truths and fully understand the impermanent, unsatisfactory, and selfless nature of all phenomena. Arahants have completely eradicated the mental defilements that bind ordinary beings to the cycle of suffering. They have uprooted greed, hatred, and delusion from their minds, and are free from all forms of mental suffering. Arahants possess boundless compassion and equanimity towards all beings. While they no longer experience personal suffering, they remain deeply committed to the welfare and liberation of others, tirelessly working for the benefit of all sentient beings. Arahants serve as inspirational role models for practitioners on the Buddhist path. Their attainment demonstrates the possibility of achieving liberation from suffering through spiritual practice and serves as a source of encouragement and inspiration for others. Arahants are highly respected and revered in Buddhist communities for their spiritual attainments and moral purity. They are honored as spiritual guides and teachers, and their teachings and examples serve as a source of guidance and inspiration for practitioners. In summary, an arahant is someone who has attained the highest level of spiritual realization and liberation in Buddhism. They are characterized by moral purity, profound wisdom, compassion, and freedom from all forms of suffering. Arahants serve as role models and sources of inspiration for all those seeking liberation from the cycle of birth and death. 2. Samasambuddho is a polyterm used in Buddhism to refer to a fully self-enlightened or perfectly enlightened Buddha. It is one of the epithets used to describe the Buddha, particularly in the context of his unique awakening and realization of the Dharma, the universal law of truth. The term Samasambuddho highlights the Buddha's attainment of full enlightenment without the guidance of a teacher or mentor. Unlike other enlightened beings, such as Pacceka Buddhas, a Samasambuddha rediscovers the path to enlightenment independently and becomes fully awakened through his own efforts. A Samasambuddha possesses perfect understanding of the nature of reality, including the Four Noble Truths, the three characteristics of existence: impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, and non-self, and the law of dependent origination. Their enlightenment is complete and comprehensive, leaving no aspect of reality unexplored. The attainment of Samasambuddhihood is characterized by supreme wisdom panya and insight into the true nature of existence, A Sammasambuddha has penetrated the depths of reality and fully comprehended the causes and cessation of suffering. As a fully self-enlightened Buddha, a Sammasambuddha possesses unparalleled wisdom and skill in teaching the Dharma. They have the ability to convey the teachings in a way that is accessible and beneficial to all beings, regardless of their backgrounds or capacities. A Sammasambuddha arises in the world to teach the Dharma for the benefit of all beings, leading them out of suffering and towards liberation. Their teachings are not limited to a particular time or place, but are relevant and applicable to all beings throughout the universe. A Sammasambuddha serves as an exemplar of the path to enlightenment, demonstrating through their own life and practice the steps leading to liberation. Their awakening inspires and guides countless beings on the spiritual path, showing them the way to freedom from suffering. A Sammasambuddha establishes a new dispensation sasana, or spiritual tradition, based on their realization of the Dharma. They lay down the framework for practice, including ethical guidelines, meditation instructions, and teachings on wisdom, compassion, and liberation. The enlightenment of a Sammasambuddha has eternal significance in the Buddhist cosmology. Their awakening marks a pivotal moment in cosmic history and serves as a beacon of light in the darkness of ignorance and delusion. In summary, Sammasambuddha refers to a fully self-enlightened Buddha who has attained perfect understanding, supreme wisdom, and unparalleled skill in teaching the Dharma. Their enlightenment is a timeless and universal event that offers guidance and inspiration to all beings seeking liberation from suffering. 3. Vichacharana Sampanno is a Pali term used in Buddhism to describe someone who is perfect in knowledge and conduct. It is often used as one of the epithets to describe the Buddha, highlighting his complete mastery of both theoretical understanding vidya and practical application. Jhana of the Dharma. The term vidya refers to knowledge, wisdom, or understanding of the true nature of reality. A Vichacharana Sampanno, particularly in the context of the Buddha, is someone who has gained complete insight into the Four Noble Truths, the three characteristics of existence, and the law of dependent origination. They possess profound wisdom and understanding of the nature of suffering, its causes, the path leading to its cessation, and the ultimate goal of liberation, nibbana. The term charana refers to conduct, behavior, or practice. A Vichacharana Sampanno is not only knowledgeable, but also exemplifies the highest standards of ethical conduct. Sila. They embody virtues such as moral integrity, compassion, generosity, patience, and humility in their thoughts, words, and actions. Their conduct serves as a model for others to emulate on the spiritual path. Vichacharana Sampanno seamlessly integrates their knowledge and conduct, embodying the principles of the Dharma in every aspect of their lives. Their theoretical understanding is reflected in their ethical behavior, and their ethical conduct is informed by their deep wisdom and insight. They walk the path of liberation with clarity, purpose, and integrity, inspiring others by their example. Vichacharana Sampanno serves as a role model and teacher for others on the spiritual path. They guide and instruct others in the principles of the Dharma, offering teachings that are grounded in both theoretical understanding and practical application. Their words and actions carry the weight of authenticity and authority, inspiring confidence and trust in their guidance. A Vichacharana Sampanno uses their knowledge and conduct for the benefit of others, working tirelessly to alleviate suffering and promote the welfare and happiness of all beings. They teach the Dharma with compassion and skill, tailoring their guidance to the needs and capacities of their audience, and offering support and encouragement to all who seek liberation. While a Vichacharana Sampanno has attained a high level of perfection in knowledge and conduct, their spiritual journey is not static, but characterized by continual growth and development. They continue to deepen their understanding, refine their conduct, and cultivate wholesome qualities on the path to ultimate liberation. In summary, Vichakanasampano describes someone who is perfect in both knowledge and conduct, particularly in the context of the Buddha. They embody profound wisdom and ethical integrity, integrate their understanding and behavior seamlessly, serve as role models and teachers for others, and work tirelessly for the benefit of all beings. 4. Shugoto is a polyterm used in Buddhism to describe someone who is well gone, well-farer, or sublime. It is one of the epithets used to describe the Buddha, highlighting his exceptional qualities and accomplishments on the spiritual path. The term Shugoto literally means well gone forth. It refers to the Buddha's journey on the path to enlightenment, which culminated in his complete liberation from the cycle of birth and death samsara. The Buddha's attainment of enlightenment is considered the highest form of going or faring in the spiritual sense, as he transcended the limitations of worldly existence and reached the ultimate goal of liberation. Shugoto also conveys the idea of being a well-farer, or one who fares well. The Buddha's spiritual journey exemplifies the path of spiritual progress and transformation that leads from ignorance to enlightenment, from suffering to liberation. As a well-farer, the Buddha not only traversed this path himself, but also showed the way for others to follow, guiding them towards the same goal of liberation. Shugoto is often translated as sublime, indicating the exalted and transcendent nature of the Buddha's attainment. The Buddha's enlightenment is considered the pinnacle of human achievement, surpassing all worldly pleasures and accomplishments. His realization of the Four Noble Truths and his embodiment of wisdom, compassion and purity are considered sublime and/or inspiring. As a Shugoto, the Buddha serves as an exemplar of the spiritual path for all beings. His life and teachings provide guidance and inspiration for those seeking liberation from suffering and the attainment of true happiness. By following the Buddha's example and practicing the Noble Eightfold Path, individuals can also become well-farers on the path to enlightenment. Shugoto also implies being a benefactor or well-wisher of the world. The Buddha's enlightenment is not only for his own benefit, but also for the welfare and happiness of all beings. As a Shugoto, the Buddha dedicated his life to teaching the Dharma, guiding others on the path to liberation, and alleviating the suffering of sentient beings. The attainment of Shugoto by the Buddha has eternal significance in Buddhist cosmology. His enlightenment marks a pivotal moment in cosmic history and serves as a beacon of light for all beings trapped in the darkness of ignorance and delusion. The Buddha's teachings continue to illuminate the path to liberation for countless beings across the universe. In summary, Shugoto describes the Buddha as someone who is well gone, well-farer, and sublime. It emphasizes his exceptional journey to enlightenment, his role as a guide and benefactor for all beings, and the eternal significance of his attainment. In the Buddhist tradition, as a Shugoto, the Buddha's life and teachings continue to inspire and uplift countless beings on the path to liberation and enlightenment. 5. Lokavidu is a polyterm used in Buddhism to describe someone who is a knower of the worlds. It is one of the epithets used to describe the Buddha, highlighting his profound understanding of the various realms of existence and the nature of reality. The term Lokavidu can be understood in two ways. First, it refers to someone who has deep insight into the different realms or worlds of existence within the Buddhist cosmology. This includes the various planes of existence, such as the human realm, celestial realms, realms of hell beings, hungry ghosts, animals, and divine beings. The Buddha, as a Lokavidu, had a comprehensive understanding of the nature of these realms, their causes and conditions, and the experiences of beings inhabiting them. Secondly, Lokavidu refers to someone who has profound insight into the nature of conditioned existence, samsara, and the causes of suffering. The Buddha, through his enlightenment, gained deep insight into the law of dependent origination, paticca samuppada, which describes the interdependent nature of all phenomena, and the process of cyclic existence. As a Lokavidu, the Buddha understood the underlying causes of suffering and the path leading to its cessation. Lokavidu highlights the Buddha's wisdom and insight into the true nature of reality. He had penetrated the depths of existence and gained direct knowledge of the Four Noble Truths: the truth of suffering, the truth of the cause of suffering, the truth of the cessation of suffering, and the truth of the path leading to the cessation of suffering. This profound understanding allowed him to guide others on the path to liberation from suffering. As a Lokavidu, the Buddha used his knowledge and insight to teach the Dharma and guide beings towards liberation. He offered teachings that were relevant to the experiences and needs of beings in different realms of existence, addressing their specific challenges and providing practical guidance for overcoming suffering and attaining liberation. The teachings of a Lokavidu are not limited to a particular time or place, but are universally applicable to all beings. The Buddha's insights into the nature of suffering and the path to liberation are relevant to beings in all realms of existence, offering hope and guidance for those seeking freedom from the cycle of birth and death. In summary, Lokavidu describes the Buddha as someone who is a knower of the worlds, possessing profound wisdom and insight into the nature of existence and the causes of suffering. As a Lokavidu, the Buddha used his knowledge to guide beings towards liberation from suffering and the attainment of true happiness. His teachings continue to offer guidance and inspiration to countless beings on the path to enlightenment. 6. Anuttaro Purisadhammasarathi is a polyterm used in Buddhism to describe someone who is the incomparable leader of men to be tamed. It is one of the epithets used to describe the Buddha, highlighting his exceptional qualities as a teacher and guide for all beings seeking liberation from suffering. The term Anuttara means incomparable or unequaled. It emphasizes the Buddha's unparalleled skill and mastery as a spiritual teacher and leader. He stands out among all other teachers and guides, both past and present, in his ability to lead beings to liberation from suffering. The Buddha is described as the leader of Purisadhammasarathi, which translates to men to be tamed or beings to be trained. This refers to all sentient beings, human and non-human, who are subject to the cycle of birth, aging, sickness, and death, and who seek guidance on the path to liberation. As the incomparable leader of beings to be tamed, the Buddha serves as a teacher and guide for all who seek liberation from suffering. He offers teachings that are relevant and beneficial to beings of all backgrounds, capacities, and inclinations, guiding them towards the cessation of suffering and the attainment of true happiness. The Buddha employs skillful means apaya to teach beings according to their needs and capacities. He adapts his teachings to the individual dispositions and circumstances of his disciples, using various methods, such as sermons, discourses, stories, parables, and meditation instructions to convey the Dharma effectively. The Buddha's role as the leader of beings to be tamed is characterized by compassion and wisdom. He understands the suffering of sentient beings and offers guidance and support to help them overcome their afflictions and attain liberation. His teachings are imbued with compassion, aiming to alleviate suffering and promote the welfare and happiness of all beings. As the incomparable leader, the Buddha serves as an exemplar of the path to liberation. His own life and practice demonstrate the steps leading to enlightenment, inspiring others to follow his example and walk the path of wisdom, virtue, and meditation. The Buddha's role as the leader of beings to be tamed is not limited to a particular time or place, but is universally relevant to all beings. Seeking liberation from suffering, his teachings continue to offer guidance and inspiration to countless beings across the world, regardless of their cultural or religious background. In summary, Anuttara Purisa Dhammasarathi describes the Buddha as the incomparable leader of beings to be tamed, emphasizing his exceptional qualities as a teacher and guide for all who seek liberation from suffering. His teachings and example continue to inspire and guide countless beings on the path to enlightenment and ultimate liberation. 7. Sathadeva Manusanam is a polyterm used in Buddhism to describe someone who is the teacher of gods and men. It is one of the epithets used to describe the Buddha, highlighting his role as a supreme spiritual teacher who imparts wisdom and guidance to both celestial beings devas and human beings manusa. The Buddha is revered as a teacher who transcends the boundaries between different realms of existence. He imparts teachings that are relevant and beneficial to beings inhabiting various planes of existence, including celestial realms devas and the human realm manusa. As the teacher of gods and men, the Buddha's teachings address the universal truths of existence and offer guidance for liberation from suffering to all beings, regardless of their realm of existence. The title Satha denotes the Buddha's role as the preeminent spiritual teacher in the Buddhist tradition. He possesses unparalleled wisdom, compassion, and skill in teaching the Dharma, the universal law of truth, to beings of all capacities and inclinations. His teachings serve as a guiding light for countless beings on the path to liberation from suffering and the attainment of enlightenment. The Buddha's teachings are not limited to the human realm, but extend to celestial beings inhabiting higher planes of existence. According to Buddhist cosmology, devas, or celestial beings, are beings who experience a higher level of existence and enjoyment due to their meritorious deeds in past lives. The Buddha, as the teacher of devas, offers guidance and teachings that are suited to their spiritual needs and aspiration, helping them progress on the path to liberation. The Buddha's role as the teacher of gods and men underscores the universal relevance of his teachings. His teachings address the fundamental truths of existence, such as the Four Noble Truths: the truth of suffering, the truth of the cause of suffering, the truth of the cessation of suffering, and the truth of the path leading to the cessation of suffering, which are applicable to all beings in all realms of existence. The Buddha's teachings offer a path to liberation that is accessible to all beings, regardless of their background or circumstances. As the teacher of gods and men, the Buddha's guidance is characterized by compassion, wisdom, and skillful means. He tailors his teachings to the capacities and needs of his audience, offering guidance and support to help them overcome suffering and attain liberation. His teachings are imbued with compassion, aiming to alleviate the suffering of all beings and promote their welfare and happiness. In summary, Sathadeva Manusanam describes the Buddha as the supreme spiritual teacher who imparts wisdom and guidance to both celestial beings and human beings. His teachings offer a universal path to liberation from suffering and enlightenment, accessible to all beings in all realms of existence. 8. Buddho is a polyterm used in Buddhism to refer to someone who is awakened or enlightened. It is one of the epithets used to describe the Buddha, highlighting his attainment of enlightenment and awakening to the ultimate truth of existence. The term Buddho derives from the root Bud, which means to awaken or to know. It signifies the Buddha's awakening to the true nature of reality and his profound insight into the causes of suffering and the path to liberation. The Buddha's enlightenment marked the culmination of his spiritual journey and his realization of the Four Noble Truths. Buddho also conveys the idea of being an enlightened one who has dispelled the darkness of ignorance and delusion. The Buddha's enlightenment is characterized by profound wisdom, clarity of mind, and liberation from the cycle of birth and death samsara. He gained direct knowledge of the Four Noble Truths, the law of dependent origination, and the nature of reality as impermanent, unsatisfactory, and devoid of self. As Buddha, the Buddha serves as the embodiment of awakening and enlightenment in the Buddhist tradition. His life and teachings inspire and guide beings on the path to liberation from suffering and the attainment of true happiness. The Buddha's enlightenment serves as a model and inspiration for all practitioners aspiring to realize the same state of awakening. Buddha also represents a universal principle of awakening that is inherent in all beings. According to Buddhist teachings, every being has the potential to awaken. The Buddha's enlightenment serves as a reminder of this potential and an invitation for all beings to cultivate wisdom and insight on the path to liberation. While the historical Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama, attained enlightenment over 2,500 years ago, the principle of Buddha is considered timeless and ever-present. The awakened state of mind is not confined to a particular time or individual, but is accessible to all beings who cultivate the qualities of mindfulness, wisdom, and compassion in their lives. As Buddha, the Buddha serves as a guide and teacher for all beings seeking liberation from suffering. His teachings offer a comprehensive path to awakening, including ethical conduct sila, mental discipline samadhi, and wisdom panya. By following the Buddha's teachings and example, practitioners can cultivate the qualities of awakening and progress towards enlightenment. In summary, Buddha describes the Buddha as someone who is awakened to the true nature of reality and serves as a guide and inspiration for all beings on the path to liberation. For awakening inherent in all beings and invites practitioners to cultivate wisdom, compassion, and mindfulness in their pursuit of enlightenment. 9. Bhagava is a polyterm used in Buddhism to describe someone who is blessed or fortunate. It is one of the epithets used to describe the Buddha, highlighting his exceptional qualities and exalted status. The term Bhagava denotes someone who is endowed with extraordinary qualities and blessings. In the context of the Buddha, it emphasizes his unique attributes, such as his unparalleled wisdom, compassion, purity, and spiritual attainment. The Buddha is considered blessed because of his enlightenment, which liberated him from the cycle of birth and death, and endowed him with boundless wisdom and compassion. Bhagava also conveys the idea of being a fortunate one who has achieved the highest spiritual realization. The Buddha's enlightenment is considered the pinnacle of human achievement and the culmination of countless lifetimes of meritorious deeds and spiritual striving. His attainment of Buddhahood is seen as the result of his own efforts and the accumulation of wholesome qualities over many lifetimes. As Bhagava, the Buddha occupies an exalted position in the Buddhist tradition. He is revered as the supreme spiritual teacher and guide, whose teachings offer a path to liberation from suffering and the attainment of enlightenment. The Buddha's blessings extend to all beings, as his teachings are considered universally beneficial and applicable to all who seek liberation. As Bhagava, the Buddha offers teachings and guidance that are based on his profound insight and discernment into the nature of reality. His teachings are characterized by clarity, precision, and depth, as he analyzes the root causes of suffering and offers practical methods for its cessation. The Buddha's analytical approach to the Dharma serves as a model for practitioners seeking to understand the nature of existence and attain liberation. In summary, Bhagava describes the Buddha as someone who is blessed, fortunate, and endowed with extraordinary qualities. As Bhagava, the Buddha occupies an exalted position in the Buddhist tradition and offers teachings and guidance based on his deep understanding of the Dharma. These are just a few of the virtues attributed to the Buddha. In Buddhist tradition, each of these qualities serves as a guiding light for practitioners on the path to awakening, inspiring them to cultivate similar virtues in their own lives. Through the emulation of these virtues, followers aspire to realize the same state of wisdom, compassion, and liberation as the Buddha.